Well, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that this has been one of the most divisive series finales of all time, or at least in recent memory. For those that did not like the finale or hated the finale, I see where you're coming from. But, a lot of the criticisms I saw about why people didn't like the finale were hot air at best, but some were actually really good, to be fair. And for those of you who found the finale to be beautiful and perfect, I also see where you're coming from. Um, you know, these two extremes are a regular reflection of where we are as a society. I personally think the finale was decent, but they could have done a lot of things differently to, have just really, really increase like the quality and the feelings. But all in all, I would give the finale an 8 out of 10. I really liked the episode. I liked how, they close out, you lose some characters. I liked how, payoffs were given. I liked how the callbacks were, given. And we'll get into it as we continue the episode. But hey, again, remember, like, everybody's entitled to their opinion for sure. But there's a difference between a stupid opinion, and an informed opinion. So just keep that in mind.
Wow. How eloquently magnanimous of you. Oh my God. Hello, and welcome to the end of an era. And frankly, the end of our spring season. My name is Ebube, and you are listening to Popcorn for Dinner. Today, we're going to be delving into the series finale of The Boys, which has been long anticipated. We have been longtime fans of the show. We've covered it extensively, as you know, and we are now at a point where the show is not just over, but, having its little internet moment where people are trying to decide whether or not they just wasted the past 7 years of their lives. We had a lot of character arcs addressed. We have some questions about what the narrative decisions were. We had a lot of commentary as well on things that affect and I suppose are influenced by the events of our real world and this show's place in pop culture. There is so much to discuss. There's so much to bite into. You already know Oseghale is here. So I think it just makes sense for us to start with maybe the biggest question of it all. Did they stick the landing? Like, can we genuinely say that they stuck the landing on this? Would people come at us with pitchforks if we if we said as much?
In my opinion, with how the season was progressing and everything that was going on, I think they stuck the landing as best as they could, right? My two major criticisms of this season, like I've said, and me and Banky spoke about this like earlier. If I was somebody watching The Boys for the first time for this season, I would think that Soldier Boy is the main character of this show.
I'm so glad you went there because, man, oh boy.
Like, I understand that they wanted to hype people up for like vote rising and everything, but it's like, why do we spend most of the season watching Soldier Boy and Friends? Very, very, very ridiculous. But I personally love Jensen Ackles and his character as Soldier Boy. But
As do I.
For the final season of The Boys, that was crazy. Second criticism: the characters of Gen V were ridiculously underutilized. And I know some people
I think
may not-
underutilized is putting it mildly, fam.
yeah, just for I'm just saying that, just to keep it cute. But
Love the diplomacy.
exactly. I think they could have interwoven them into the story and, actually allowed them to do significant things if they really wanted to, right? But again, it's complicated. Like we spoke about earlier on the pod as well, with the show Gen V itself getting cancelled, with Chance passing, them having to rewrite the whole season 2 script. I guess there were just a lot of behind the scenes complications. And Banky also mentioned this, that like the viewership numbers were just really not there. Like,
Mhm.
don't get me wrong, that makes no that makes no difference in terms of the quality of the story that was being told in GenV. The last season was very strong, especially them hyping up Marie to be this Homelander level power and everything like that, just for her character to drive a bus. It's like, come on, like you could have done a lot better. So so that's whole narrative was weird to me, right? And I also think one of the biggest issues is that they actually made the kids from Gen V, their powers are actually too good. Like, so if they really came into the boys, they would have overshadowed the team. So I think they realized that and they were just like, okay, yeah, like these guys can interact, but they can't really do much. Besides that, I think the only other kind of valid criticism that I was seeing online from the internet chat and everything were people talking about the pacing. And don't get me wrong, I think the pacing was decent up until about episode 68, because then it's like, okay, like they're just rushing things. They know that, okay, this is our final season. We have to close these zoos. We have to do these things, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, I could argue that they knew that 4 episodes ago, but no problem.
Exactly. So it's just like, it's one of those things. All in all, this was definitely the weakest season of the boys, without a doubt. But in terms of the finale itself, I feel like they actually stuck the landing.
Okay, sure. I think the landing does make sense in terms of, what they offered, right? They offered us a chance to close out certain people's storylines. They offered us a chance to actually figure out, who's doing what in the story and why. Additionally, I think it makes sense for us to acknowledge that finales are difficult, right? They use the mole guy throughout the season to kind of meta tell us this, and I get it, but I do think the writers do have some responsibility to the audience to kind of deliver on the promises that they've made, and I think some of the best finales that we've had do this. Like, they just deliver on the promises they made. The biggest problem with Game of Thrones, for example, which I know people are already comparing this to, is that it set up a lot of things that it chose not to deliver on. Like, Game of Thrones was, an action versus consequences show, but eventually it became a setup and payoff show. They changed the way the writing worked when they started to take over from George in terms of creating new material for the show, because they ran out of books to adapt. And the thing about a setup and payoff structure is that, like, you better pay things off or people will be mad at you. And those guys are kind of still pariahs today. It's been almost 10 years. So let's think about this, right? I find the need to just ask, are cinematic universes degrading storytelling? Because look, Gen V was robbed of its full potential because the focus of its second season, which was highly anticipated, by the way, was so set on making it tie into the bigger show. And then they chose to not tie it into the bigger show. So that kind of invalidates the storylines in Gen V season 2. Like, they had Sage in there, for crying out loud. Like,
True.
they built, like, a lot of the stuff we know about Sage comes from Gen V. And this kind of amounted to nothing. And you think about the soldier boy of it all. The fact that they're doing this whole Vought Rising thing, which, did anyone ask for that? But anyway, fine, we have a VCU now. And this show is not even going to be set in the present day. Like, it's set in the past. So with it being set in the past, does that mean that in the present, Soldier Boy is actually just going to be on ice till further notice? Like, does this mean they're going to bring up another spin-off later with, I don't know, Marie and the Gen V people doing something else, but the show won't actually be called Gen V? Like, I don't know. Of what descending? Like, I have no idea what they're going to do with this, because they push Soldier Boy way too hard. Like, I could not agree with you more there. Like, people already liked him. And the extent to which so many people liked him is low-key suspect, considering everything he stands for, but people liked him. This guy was a fun person. Jensen Ackles is amazing to watch. If anything, this finale was entertaining. Like, it was a nice finale to watch. As an episode of TV, I think it was actually really good. If all the other episodes of this season were like this one, we might have fewer issues here. But unfortunately, they weren't, right?
Yeah.
And since we're talking about Soldier Boy, I have to discuss the way the the extended focus on him kind of takes away from Mother's Milk. Like his whole thing, like this guy's entire life conflict was Soldier Boy ruined my life. He ruined my family's life. Bro, these guys did not meet once. Like they barely ever, there was no chance for them to talk. Like the most they gave I think at some point one of the writers was like, we might not be able to get away with this. So they had him have that conversation with Stan Edgar where they're smoking cigars. And it's like, okay, sure, Stan Edgar is very much culpable for a lot of the things that happened to MM. And MM even told him, like, at some point, bro, like, I will come for you.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's good. But to have them, almost end up on a similar side to Soulja Boy at one point, and like, MM is kind of on the sidelines. He's going through this kind of depressive state because he's almost given up. Then, by episode 6 or 7, he starts to truly become who he's supposed to be again. You see him kind of picking himself back up. But there was still no real reckoning or quote-unquote payoff with the whole Soulja Boy thing. And I don't know if that truly does justice to his character. And I wonder if that's something that we can really let slide. I mean, I'm glad that he got a happy ending. I am glad that, Ryan is safe with him. And honestly, Streets are saying that Ryan might pull a Travis Kelce after meeting MM's daughter. The way they were looking at each other. And I'm like, you people need to relax. Let's all calm down. But still, I don't know. He got back with Monique, which is fine, but I don't know, man.
I mean, for me, personally, bro, coming into the last episode of the season, I thought MM was going to die, bro. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Because they were not doing anything with his story arc anymore, right?
Yeah, not even because they were not even doing anything with his story arc. Like, his story arc kind of come full circle a little bit in that he had discovered himself again and he was still going to do what he needed to do for the mission, right?
Yeah.
But it was going to be a different mindset. So I'm like, okay, like, Frenchie is dead. Who else is next? They've already killed one black man. You know how it goes. Like,
oh my God.
So I was surprised. I was surprised that nobody else on the team died. I was genuinely surprised. I'm not gonna lie. Like, obviously,
Same.
like Butcher was dying for sure. Like, that was without a doubt. But like,
yeah.
I thought at least like one of Kimiko, MM of them would die. So, but everything you said is valid because it's like, again, putting this whole focus on Soulja Boy is like,
just for the sake of a spin-off.
Yeah, like, it's like, come on, bro. Like obviously, like you said, people love the character. He's very good in the show. And obviously, like, from season 3 till now, he's played big parts in the show. But to throw everything at him in the final season just to get people interested in watching Vote Rising, to me, is crazy. But effective at the same time because, again, it's like, he's just a character that people really like, which is insane, by the way. Like you said,
we need to acknowledge that.
Yeah, which is insane.
As black men, we need to acknowledge this.
Yeah, which is so crazy. And what you're saying is so valid because, like, this criticism of them not giving MM any like FaceTime with Soulja Boy this is like the first time that I'm hearing somebody actually bring it up. Like, people are just so happy that MM got his happy ending that they are forgetting that him and Soulja Boy actually really never had a reckoning. Like,
yeah. And
it's like, on the one hand, can I let it go because MM got his happy ending? But I also look at it like this, right? This is one of the main themes of the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vengeance doesn't fill the void.
Yeah.
Vengeance never feels the void.
We saw that with Butcher, right?
Exactly.
Like he literally got his revenge and was still like, nah, I need to go more. I need to go further. And we'll get to him, but yeah.
We'll get to him. So it's like, because we know that vengeance never fills the void, I think MM not getting that chance to reckon with Soulja Boy, but then, moving on, getting his family back, adopting and raising Ryan, a lot of the audience can overlook it and be like, okay, fair enough. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because the truth of the matter is, even if really got his vengeance against Soldier Boy, he will not have fulfilled him as much as getting his family back and being able to raise Ryan. That doesn't mean they're not bugging, but hey, it's valid.
Yeah, I mean, if he even died, I don't know if that would have really helped matters either,
Yeah,
because these characters have gone through, recycling of their arcs. Like the main culprit of this is Frenchie, right?
yeah,
Because some of these characters overstay and outlive their narrative purpose, right? The audience doesn't feel real stakes
yep,
because the focus is just too divided. I mean, one could argue that Frenchie should have died a while ago, right?
yeah.
And I can't help but feel like his actual death in the literal penultimate episode of the entire show wasn't as devastating as it should have been
That it
for
should have
me as
been.
an OG audience member, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you have other deaths like, Firecracker kind of making more sense because they're focusing on those arcs, right? Firecracker, for example, dying right after professing that Homelander is all she lives for is almost a meta indication from the story itself that nothing is worth living for her anymore because Homelander is nothing. And this is
Literally.
something that's like clearly stated for us, by A-Train, who is like the last person that this guy had killed before then, in terms of the soups. So, Firecracker gets a good arc. You have someone like Black Noir, which I guess that is just like that's another meta commentary on just how disposable, Black superheroes actually are. Because tell me why they had Black Noir. Underneath, it turned out to be a black man. Then they killed that guy. Then they brought another black guy to replace him, which nobody in the world of the show is aware of, like the general public. Like they just don't know this. And then this guy gets killed again by another white superhero for nothing, for
For nothing, bro.
personal beef. Somebody who's supposed to actually be very strong. Like original Noir was terrifying. Like this guy was scary. New Noir is just, what did they do with him? Like he just showed up for, like you could take New Noir out of the final season and there would be no difference.
Literally nothing.
Try me. Like there would be no difference.
Literally
Such a
nothing.
waste. I don't know. You could say that was predictable. I'm not entirely sure if that's true. I mean, again, there were some good things, right? At least let's focusing on the finale itself, the episode. That scene with Ryan and Homelander, I liked.
I love
I
it.
thought that was a good reckoning for Homelander because you can tell he's like he's holding back something, right? He wants to go scorched earth, but he can't help but you know find some meaning in what Ryan is saying, even though he doesn't like what that meaning entails. It's like when he was talking to the legend, and the legend's like, "Yeah, I'm not scared of you." And he lets the guy live because it's like, "Yo, what is even the point?" That was one of the better Homelander scenes of the whole season. And
Yeah, for
Antony
sure.
Starr, they need to put that guy in the history books, man, because if anything, this performance was carrying the season on its back.
Bro, he's
It
something
really
else, bro.
was.
They need to build him a statue for it.
Like an actual statue, Homelander, right? Like it's crazy because, I mean, think about when he was giving his speech. He choked on the word father because of that interaction. And somebody might say that's a bit on the nose. But you know what? If anything's going to be on the nose, let it be stuff like that. Like
Bro,
that works because
mind you, even before he choked on the word father, he also stumbled saying my fellow Americans because he doesn't view them as equals. Like he's just
he
like, these guys are
doesn't.
beneath me.
And he
What do you mean
immediately
fellow
turns on
Americans?
the dissenters. He said he offers them oblivion. And, there are questions, right, as to whether, Homelander should have really gone scorched earth, right? Should we have
Mhm.
seen him lasering people? Because we got all these teasings in the previous seasons as like what he would do if he had ultimate power. And I think he did. Like we did see him get to actually the top. Like there's no Madeline Stillwell, there's no Stan Edgar in his way anymore. Like this guy is actually untouchable now for the first time. But like Ryan said, you were already miserable. Like
Mhm.
why would more power do anything for
Anything for
you?
you.
And the lasering, I think, would have been interesting. I know there's some people who are saying, okay, we should have had a payoff for that. But I would actually argue that there is no need for the story to show us that, because we already know he would do it. We already know he would do it. He says he would do it even in this episode. So
And,
maybe him eroding what makes the world actually function, like trying to ban nut milk, for example, like all these different things. He's trying to destroy infrastructure just because, I don't like the way that looks. That probably is maybe an even more effective representation of what Homelander at the top actually looks like than him just going around like, lasering people in half or whatever.
and it's so funny that you brought this up because my brother and I were having this conversation literally last night about
I had the same
the whole
conversation with mine.
exactly about the whole Scotch Air thing. And I'm like, we just like you said, I'm like, bro, we already know that Homelander is capable of doing this. He has never stopped killing people on a whim.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, him killing millions of people in the finale just because doesn't really add anything to the story, right? Like we're already aware of his character and his depravity. Like, and if anything, him killing all those people before the boys get to stop him kind of takes away from their win, right? Because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, yeah, you've killed Homelander, but he has already committed genocide. Like, what do we gain?
And even the whole genocide thing, it reminds me of the marketing material of the show, of this
Mhm.
season, which I just can't help but feel now was just like a lie. Like, why did you lie to us? They
Exactly.
had all these images of like Vought Tower destroyed with the boys in front of it, of Homelander floating,
In space.
over the earth in space, of Homelander floating over the White House with like a bunch of people in the air behind him. Bro, who are those people? Like, I'm hearing that stuff is from the comics, but like, if you weren't going to use it, why'd you do that? Like, what are you doing? Like, everybody was just waiting for all of that to make sense. Like, why actually would you do that? Like, I don't really understand. And then like it draws to the whole power scaling thing for Homelander. And I know people are arguing about this on the internet, but like, unfortunately, this is not Demon Slayer. This is not Jujutsu Kaisen. So, on some level, we have to understand that power scaling does not quite matter to some of the narrative choices in this specific story.
Yeah.
I will say though, what I will say is when you're dealing with literally the most powerful guy, maybe the power scaling kind of does matter a bit. I don't know. What do you think? Like, was it too easy? Like, was it too easy to take this guy down?
I mean, honestly, thinking about it realistically, right? Homelander doesn't know how to fight, right?
Mm-hmm. He doesn't. He just has
Homelander
brute
doesn't know how
strength
to
and the
fight.
ability to fly.
Homelander doesn't know how to fight. Butcher
Whereas
knows how to
Butcher
fight.
does, by the way. He's been
Butcher
trained.
knows how to fight. Butcher has been
Yeah.
trained. Orion has also been trained and knows how to fight a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
Kimiko has obviously also been trained and knows how to fight. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's like, okay, one brute force guy that is stronger than these three guys, but doesn't know how to fight. So it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be hard for him to escape them just based on that fact alone. That's one. Another thing that some people complain about was the fact that Homelander lasered Kimiko, but she didn't get cut in half. I'm like,
What
yeah,
she did at the beginning of the season, though.
but she did at the beginning of the season. And I'm like, yeah, but
Because
the
of the power
context,
up, you think?
exactly. I think so. The
Okay.
context is different because it's like he shot her in her chest, which has now
Mm-hmm.
become a radiation cannon. I mean, I was not expecting a radiation cannon to get cut in half because of
Yeah.
the laser to the eyes. And it's like the same way he lasers Butcher too, and Butcher doesn't get cut in half because like Butcher's power is making him that durable as well. So I don't think that's something very crazy. Even people talking about how, oh, like when he was trying to fly out, like they kept catching him. It's like, yeah, bro, because to actually fly out, he needs to generate some velocity. Because guys are trying to compare it with the scene with A Train. In the scene with A Train, they were outside and he was already flying. It's completely
Mm-hmm.
different context. Like in the building,
Mm-hmm.
he still has to do this stupid dismount and actually and actually gets and actually gets he still needs to actually get into his flight mode and shit. So it's like, and bro,
Oh, man.
Butcher's tentacles come out in a second, bro. Like there is no lag. So it makes sense that
Yeah.
he couldn't escape as well. So like again, looking at these things in context, like I won't even say that the power scaling is messed up because, bro, Homelander was still beating the shit out of these guys, bro. I think that's
He kind
another
of
thing.
was.
Like, guys are acting like they just came in and were decking Homelander. No, he
That's not what
was
happened.
beating the shit out of them, bro. They actually just managed to hold him down for that second after Ryan came in, kind of like level the playing field a little bit. And even then, they were still struggling to hold him down. It's like he's clearly stronger than them. He's just
Hmm.
dumber and can't fight. That is literally it. That is all.
Yeah. Yeah. And, even going back to him not seeing people as equals, as you were talking about, it brings up another question for me. Like, was Homelander only trying to be a god for America? Because his speech was only addressed to Americans.
I mean, he clearly doesn't care about what the fuck is stand.
Who
So
gives the fuck a stand? Oh, God. When he said that thing, I was like, wow, 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 wow. You guys, these writers, like, please behave yourselves, man. And you know what? Let's talk about some of these dialogue choices. Homelander, right, saying he'll suck Butcher's dick is an interesting choice. I wonder if there was another way to show how pathetic he was. Like, I mean, I get it. This guy, we needed to humiliate this guy because it's literally like A-Train said, like that was kind of something that needs to be paid off on as well. Like, without your powers, you're nothing. So we had to see what it was like without his powers. And even the way he ends up getting killed, like that is direct from the comic. The whole crowbar thing, that was gnarly. Like that was actually pretty gnarly. Like, jeez.
Butcher looking into the camera after he just opened that guy's skull. Hang it in the Louvre, man.
That is insane.
Hang it in the Louvre, man.
Like, wow, man. It's just like that was an interesting choice in terms of what he said before the death happened. And by the way, interesting callback as well. I am the Homelander, which like that's one of his original statements in the first season. I'm the Homelander. I could do whatever the fuck I want. And them kind of paying that off to show that yes, you are the Homelander, but the Homelander is nothing.
It's nothing.
I like that. I like that a lot. But I'm thinking about some of the other choices. Like apparently Antony Starr was the one who suggested that he would also say, I'll eat your shit on live TV. Like, so that really showed what was going on. And that point where he says that was when we actually see this stuff is actually still streaming. And somebody also needs to explain to me how that camera is still working. Those guys felt the need to topple it before running, which also was interesting to me. Like they could have just run, but no. They had to topple it first, and then the camera survived all of that. Should the White House be more damaged, by the way? Should the Oval Office be more damaged from that?
I mean, it's
because
pretty
think about who's fighting here. The room
That's
is,
fair.
but
that's fair. Maybe. But now even the Homelander dialogue is like was saying things that he would like people to hear when they are begging him. Like, cause he's
that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
literally.
So like this is just projection, essentially.
It's literally just projection because it's like if you are a normal person, why would you want somebody to eat your shit? Like, that's not something normal people just like. Like, so he's like, he's literally projecting on Butcher. Because remember, the first thing he tells Butcher is that, bro, I'll give you votes. I'll make you as rich as you can. It's like, bro,
I'll get a shapeshifter to be Becca, which
Becca.
That was a mistake.
and it's like, for the fact that you even think that him just having a shapeshifter as Becca can do anything for him just shows how empty you are. Like,
because it did something for him.
Yeah, exactly.
He did it for Madeline in season 2, right?
So again, and it's perfect projection in that moment. And as he's talking, you can literally see it in Butcher's face. Like, he's like, that damn, this guy I hated so much probably only just found me as an annoying little plaything. Like, you can see the realization in his face as Homelander is talking before he says that, no, you're nothing. And again, it's also the show trying to tell us that at the core of this show, bro, like, Homelander was not really the villain, bro. Like, this show at its core was a battle of ideals. And that's why it had to end the way it ended. Huey versus Butcher.
Yeah. Yeah,
because
that is
it's
true.
like
That
at
was a
the end
good
of the
scene
day,
as well.
yeah, great scene. Because at the end of the day, Huey and Butcher, they both were tainted by the darkness. Biggest difference is Huey stayed true to himself, the whole of the boys. No matter
He
how
was the
dark,
anchor.
yeah, no matter how dark things got, no matter what he had to do, Huey as a person never changed, right? And that's why he's able to still think about these things in a hopeful way. Whereas Butcher is sometimes he's struggling, but he mostly finds himself on the cynical side. And it's like we talk about, Two Face, how there's William and there's Butcher. So he's always struggling. Am I William or am I Butcher?
Yeah.
And I think in his last moments, he was William.
Yeah, that is true. I like that a lot. I do wonder though if it was kind of a weird choice to have all these pivotal characters do all this stuff in this episode after having them just sit around throughout episode 7. It makes me wonder if the ending of this show was actually just predictable.
Mm,
We had this whole appearance from Kessler again, right?
yeah,
Because we just really, really want the supernatural guys in here, no matter what. Even if it's just adding Soldier Boy time to the story, but you know what? It's whatever.
type shit, bro.
I guess I'll survive. But, I think about the fact that Kessler was telling Huey, he is he's going to disappoint you.
Hmm.
And I suppose he almost does, but, he doesn't. I think it's interesting that right as Butcher is taking his finger off the trigger, Huey is forced to pull his own
He's supposed to
trigger,
pull the trigger. Yeah,
and Huey probably saved him from a life of misery and pain. There's so much that this guy would never have been happy. He just would never
he
have been
couldn't, sir.
happy.
He
He would never
couldn't.
have stopped,
Yeah,
so
and,
it's a tragedy.
yeah, and that's another part of that scene. Like people are saying that, oh, Butcher was only telling Huey he will never have stopped, so Huey won't feel guilty about killing him.
I think it's
But
true.
it's like Butcher was never going to stop, bro. He's
Yeah.
physically incapable of stopping. Like it's like it's like the same thing with adults, bro. It's like these are guys that all they know is the mission, bro. Everything
Yeah.
else is secondary, and now the mission is gone. Like
Yeah.
Homelander is dead. But guess what? Vengeance never fills the void, bro. You just have to
Yeah.
continue. You literally, like, all you can do is keep going. And it's like,
Mhm.
and it's so accurate because, bro, Butcher's character in The Boys is literally based on the Punisher. Like,
Mhm.
you can't, you can only be stopped. You can never stop.
That
You
is
can
true.
never stop. You can, like, no, because again, there's always going to be somebody else to even the conversation they have when he has placed the virus in the water tank. He's like, bro, it's only a matter of time before there's another Homelander. That's the cynic view. Huey's view is like, but what if there are more starlights? And that's it.
Yeah.
That's what the show
Yeah.
is at the end of the day. That's all it is. It's a battle
Optimism
of
versus pessimism. Yeah.
is a battle of ideology. And that's why, like, that last scene had to be Huey versus Butcher. Who really wins at the end? And at the end of the day, Butcher himself, like, in that moment, before he could throw away all his humanity, he saw Huey and had that reflection of learning. And he took his finger off the trigger. He lets William come back. He lets the humanity win. And that point also shows the growth of Huey's character as well. In earlier seasons, Huey would not have been able to make a decision that difficult. Like, so at the end of the day, Butcher literally defeated himself by creating Huey, turning Huey into somebody that could make hard choices. So it's like it's such a beautiful, like, the context around it makes it an even more beautiful scene when you think about it like that. Because literally, Butcher is dying, and he says, "I don't know what to do." And
Yeah.
Huey tells him, "You don't have to do anything. The mission is done. It's complete. You can rest." Hey, man.
That was a good line reading and a good writing choice from them too, to say, like, to have him show in his final moments that, without this, what am I?
What am I?
And I feel like there's a lot of stuff regarding belief and, self-actualization in this episode, which I
Yeah.
suppose is appropriate for the finale of the show. I'm even thinking back to the conversation between Starlight and Marie,
Mm-hmm.
where, she's talking about her time with Maeve. I did think it was kind of weird that Starlight is here lecturing Marie as though she isn't maybe the most powerful person on earth. But I guess the show wants me to forget that Marie is that. I mean, all this talk about Marie, playing a key role in the finale. She did. She used the key to start a car, and then and then they drove to Canada because, yeah, I guess that's all that was good for. Man, will we ever forgive these people? I don't know. Having said that, people tried to figure out what they were, what they truly had in them, what they had to offer, and I think that also applies, for example, to Kimiko. I think Frenchie kind of walking out in the fever dream, like as though time had stopped and these people were in flash time, like this is the CW, was interesting. But it's, I suppose, again, that's, as you said before, like this is the kind of corny stuff we like.
Yeah.
So maybe it makes sense for them to do that. One thing though, I have to kind of point out, or at least that kind of stuck out to me, turning Kimiko into a weapon, like the person descended from Hiroshima survivors whose whole arc has been about her being more than just a weapon. This feels, should I see this as character assassination? Should I let it go? I'm like
the thing with
I
that
thought you
is,
get, like, come on.
the thing with that is, yes, is very hypocritical at the end of the day, but there were no other options. And Kimiko herself knew there were no other options. Nobody else could have survived that. And again,
Yeah.
Frenchie dying really triggered her to want to go to those extremes, right? But it's an interesting thing about, the powers being used, right? And I saw something about this on Screen Crush, shout out Screen Crush. When Kimiko shoots
Iran.
her own like chest ray, is out of love, and like it doesn't kill, it just takes away the powers. And
Yeah,
it's the
as
same
opposed to what
thing.
Soldier Boys does. Yeah.
Yeah, but mind you, it's the same thing with Soldier Boy when he actually uses his power on bomb sites. That's the
Yeah.
first time he's shot that blast at somebody, and it wasn't
On
out
purpose.
of rage.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
on purpose, and it's only took away his powers. That shit was leveling stuff before. Like, guy, he
Yeah.
was decimating guys. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, fair enough. Like, this power actually really depends on your mind states. Like, so it's not something that they just threw in there. It's something that we've actually seen earlier in the season, which was interesting because like I didn't even really think about it.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Speaking of Kimiko's powers, isn't Ryan a natural born soup?
Yeah, he is.
Like, should Kimiko's power work on him?
Well, if he's a natural born soup, there's technically V in his blood, so I guess.
I suppose. I mean,
like that would be the natural assumption, right? Because again, like even like the V is already in his blood cells.
yeah, I guess so.
So I
So
guess
they can
it
remove
should
it.
work. Yeah. So I guess it should work. Yeah.
And well, yeah, it allows him to live a normal life with Emma's family, which I guess makes sense since we never saw Zoe again. Can somebody explain that to me? Like, what do you guys mean? So Zoe and her dad just disappeared. Stan Edgar, what are we just supposed to assume that Stan Edgar found them or something?
I don't think they even want us to think about it. I ain't gonna hold you. They're like, hey, they on the run. Fair enough, they're on the run. Like, but that scene, another really interesting scene was with Ryan and Butcher. And Ryan is talking to Butcher and he's like, I didn't do this for you.
Yeah.
I did this because my dad needed to be stopped. Like, you're not a good person either. Like, and it's like, as heartbreaking as it is, it's facts. And again,
it's a great choice of words too, by the way, because you can see the pain in Ryan. I think it's intentional from the writers that he was not awake when Homelander was killed. Because
Yep.
despite everything, Ryan still sees Homelander as his dad. He
As
thinks
his
he's a
dad,
bad
yeah.
guy. He knows he is.
He
But he's
knows.
like, yo, this is my family. Like, he's the
Yeah.
only family, the only blood family I
Bro,
have, right? My mom is already dead. So
even
Butcher's delusion in thinking that they can all start again and get back to normal is a good writing choice because it's insane. It's delusional.
is
And Ryan
insane.
would definitely reject that.
Yeah, and it's so, and even when Ryan wakes up after Butcher has killed Homelander, Butcher can't even look at him. Like, he looks away because he
He looks
knows.
away. And
He
Ryan
knows.
can barely even stare
Yeah.
at what happened either.
Like, he knows. He's like, damn. Like, this is
Like,
crazy.
this kid helped me kill his father,
Bro.
you know?
And it's like, and again, some people would say that, like, Butcher only loves Ryan because he was an extension of Rebecca. And I'm like, that's a fair argument, right? But at the same time, it's like, for the fact that, Butcher knows that, hey, listen, what I'm asking you to do is insane because, hey, he told Ryan that, bro, hey, me and you, we are going to die. Let's at least do something. Like, then
And Ryan's like, you know what? No, I can live just without you.
exactly. Literally. It's like, yeah, we're not soups anymore. Let's start over. And Ryan is like, bro, there's no starting over for us, bro. Like, all we've been bonded by is hatred
And trauma.
and trauma. Like, I want to live a normal life. Like, I'm not a soup
It's true.
anymore.
The guy's still young. Like, let him go.
Bro,
To be
he's
honest.
literally still a kid. And I feel like that was and one thing I'll give the boys writers, I feel like that was an interesting way to do it. I never would have expected Ryan to lose his powers, right? I thought, Ryan would now become one of those beacons, like, okay, a real hero kind of thing. But honestly, this makes even more sense
It
because
makes
it's like,
sense.
this is literally what Becca would have wanted, for him to live a normal life as a normal kid with a good family. But also, shout out to MM though, because remember, when Butcher had his cancer, he made MM promise to find Ryan no matter what and to raise him because he's the best father that he knows. So, again, and this is my thing with people not paying attention to the show. People were like that. Why is Ryan with MM? I'm like, bro, come on.
You guys, they told you.
They told you, bro. Like,
they told
said
you.
it.
And it's also, and there's also juxtaposition and payoff in there because he is now raising the grandson of the person that destroyed his family.
Yes.
So he's literally like building something up, choosing love over hatred. Like, there's so much symbolism inside that.
And
media literacy, people.
Media literacy. And guess what, bro? And again, it goes back to the theme of vengeance never filling the void, bro.
Exactly.
It never.
What's MM supposed to do? Just leave this kid? So what? He becomes just a criminal, like some street person, like just wreaking havoc. I mean, why? Why do that?
Why?
Like, this is somebody with potential. This is somebody who can still be molded into something that, that could, bring hope to the world. Which, by the way, what are your thoughts on Huey and Starlight being pregnant?
I mean, I'm not surprised.
And them naming the baby Robin.
So for
people
me,
are divided on this. People are like, how dare you name your child after your ex?
Bro, first of all, like, these guys are trying to make it seem like Robin was just a regular ex. Guys, she died in his arms, bro. She
on
died
the same curb,
on that
by
same
the way.
curb. On
that same curb, that same
curb.
spot.
That's literally exactly.
That's a parallel.
That's literally where the show started.
Exactly, and now
ended.
It's where it ends.
And it's like, bro, it makes
it's a nice bookend.
Yeah, it's a great dedication to the memory of Robin because she's the one, like, her death literally sent Huey on this arc. And now the arc is closing with rebirth. Like, bro, come on. Are you people hearts that cold? Like, talking about how dare he named the child after an ex. Come on, bro. That's not just an ex, bro. She's literally the linchpin of this whole thing. And again, bro, it's like, at the end of the day, bro, no matter what your perspective on who is right between Huey and Butcher, the simple truth of the matter is Huey was right all along from the beginning. Like, if there's a slight chance of redemption for somebody, you should chase it. Look at Adrian, bro. Like, even just going back to the first 2 seasons of The Boys, imagine if Huey let a train die of that heart attack. They would have
Yeah.
never gotten anywhere. Never.
Yeah.
They would have never ever gotten anywhere in this show. A Train would have never even become a hero. Like it's just like
Yeah.
and I think that's what the show is trying to tell us at the end of the day, right? Because and that's the main difference between like the show and the comics. Like the comics, there was nothing like hope. Like it was all just dark and
The
twisted.
comics are just bleak.
Yeah, bleak,
Yeah, I don't
dark,
know.
and twisted. Like, and that's why I was kind of like not worried per se. And that's why I was kind of like, I don't know how this finale is going to go. Like, because what is the show really trying to tell us at the end of the day? Are they going to tell us that, yeah, like, these are the consequences of trying to do the right thing? Or are these characters going to have a happy ending? And I'm like, I'm okay with the fact that, like, you know, they let these guys have a happy ending, bro. Because again, all these guys have just been suffering. To be fair, like they've literally just been suffering. So it makes sense that, like, you know, they were able to close the loop on guys having happy endings and things of that nature. But again, like I said, this show from the beginning, for anybody paying attention, guy, it's been a battle of ideals, bro. That's what it always has been.
Yeah. And they managed to figure out ways to kind of signify that to us. Over time, things have gotten darker and darker and darker. You've seen that even in the costuming, right? But
Yep.
in this episode, at the very end, Huey is wearing his signature jacket from the earlier seasons again, which I didn't even realize he still had that, but you know he
Bro,
does. It's a way visually for them to show us that this guy's life is finally going back to normal, or at least has a chance to go back to normal. He's about to be the father of a natural born soup. Annie is pregnant but still fighting crime, which, well, I mean, hey, people have their cravings, I guess. So I think it's interesting that there is that much color in their lives. I also thought it was fun that, you know, because technically, and I can't even start to explain this right now, but Bob Singer is still the president. Like,
yeah.
the way America's laws work, I just want everyone to know that he is still technically the president.
Oh
So,
yeah, he was never impeached. He was just
yeah,
arrested.
exactly. So I'm surprised they didn't kill him. But yeah, you know, him kind of still calling Huey to ask if he would take over the Bureau of Superhuman Affairs, that's a good callback, right? Because that's also where he was working under Victoria Newman. And
Yeah.
there's actually no one better suited to lead that department
That
than
him?
Huey.
Yep.
But it says a lot about Huey that he would refuse, because it's like, you know, I have other priorities now. Like these people actually want to move on,
Yeah.
right? I'm hearing whisperings of, you know, kind of a slight spin-off continuation thing that may be going on, but like Huey and Butcher are not involved. So, well, Butcher will definitely not be involved because he's dead. But
He's
like,
dead,
I
yeah.
don't know if Jack Quaid is going to be actually doing anything like that. So I guess we'll have to see. They
So
ended the show, I think, in a good place for his character. So I wouldn't want them to kind of push things too much and like make him overstay his welcome.
So the thing is, from what I've been seeing, right, like people are saying that even though vote rising occurs in the past, it might
Mm-hmm.
happen in different timelines. So it might be past, future kind of thing. And apparently the boys Mexico is still happening. I was seeing some rumblings about that online. So maybe that's where the Gen V characters are gonna like get involved. I honestly
But they
don't know.
drove in the other direction.
It doesn't matter. They can drive back.
Oh my God.
So I mean, hey, listen, man, like these guys at this point, they can do whatever they like in the VCU.
VC. Oh
In the
my God.
VCU. But
Like,
yeah,
are we not tired of this behavior? But you know what? Whatever.
like whatever
Whatever.
for you, bro. Like, I'm trying to think. Is there anything we missed?
There's a bunch of stuff that actually I would like your thoughts on.
Okay.
First of all, the Deep finally dying.
Bro, long time coming. Long
Because
time
at
coming.
one point, it reached a point where I was actually thinking, you know, they're just going to leave this guy to his devices, and he's going to have to live out the rest of his days knowing that, you know, he amounted to nothing. He gave up everything for nothing. But, you know, I think once Annie flew him to the beach, I was just like, okay, I see what these guys are doing.
Bro,
Which probably one of the more predictable moves they made,
yeah.
but, you know, I suppose
I
that's
think
fair.
I think the funniest part about that scene is that, like, obviously Annie didn't know what was going on. She flew him to the beach to try and calm him down, to talk to
Exactly.
him, only for her to say, okay, this guy not the hear word. She hits him into the water and she sees them killing. Like, and you can see
And she's just like,
the what
huh?
the fuck on her
She's
face.
like,
Like,
huh,
she's
okay.
like, okay, like, so that was funny as fuck. But even besides that, bro, and this is
Dialogue.
why Homelander is so crazy. Homelander wants people to worship him, to do anything he has, no questions.
And then here's one guy who's willing to do it, and you
bro,
reject him.
not even just willing. He has been doing it since the show started.
I'm
And
his right
Homelander,
hand bro.
and
He'll piss on me
Homelander,
whenever I want.
and Homelander cannot fucking stand him, bro. I'm like, but bro,
The sick irony, man.
this is literally what you want.
This is what you're saying that
This
you
is
need.
what you are saying that you need. You are literally using psychics to scan the minds of true believers when there's a true believer right in your front, but you hate him because you know that everything he's doing is just to suck up to you. Like,
Yeah. that dichotomy is probably something that a lot of people will end up missing, because the deep he screamed, like, Annie's trying to get him to take some responsibility, and he's literally shouting no. Like
a baby.
That's insane. I think it's also, by the way, insane that there are sea creatures that can take down a soup. Like, I don't know if that thing was some kind of like kraken octopus thing. Like, and why are they shouting justice for Ambrosius, by the way? I thought this was about the pipeline.
I think it's a combination of both.
Okay, fine, no problem. But I mean, the deep, Chase Crawford, well done, because this guy really, like, this was a character that just had no shame whatsoever.
Nothing, bro.
From that moment when he comes in and he calls Father Prophet Muhammad,
bro,
and then like he's just in so many ways. Like, he's not smart. Like, Homelander literally physically turns his back on him and moves on, right? And I think also it's an interesting choice on the writer's part, maybe even, I don't know, maybe even a fun choice to make a guy who identifies with fish a spineless person. So I feel like there's something there that somebody may have thought about. If you are that person and you're listening to this, take your credit. It's due. Shout out. One thing I will also add, before we talk about Father and Ashley, whom I think maybe had two of the best arcs maybe in the season.
Yeah.
Why was there a knockoff Elon Musk? They already established that Elon exists in this world. Meanwhile, they're bringing this Gunther Van Ellis guy. He's talking about starlighter slaves and white fertility rates. And he's wearing Elon's White House outfit. Like, right down to the black. I was like, wow. These guys.
Hey, they were like, hey, man, if you go now, you got to go out with a bang. I appreciated that.
Wow, bro. That's so wild, because it's literally right after Homelander turns his back on the deep that he walks up to that guy and just flies him to space and leaves him there. Which is insane, because there are also some jokes about how Elon should just go to space and leave us alone. Oh my God. The whole thing was crazy, to be honest. And, I guess while we're talking about what was going on in the White House, we might as well just talk about, Father and Ashley, because, like I said, they have some of the better arcs. I think their relationship turned out to be an interesting cornerstone of this season's plot points.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a testament, of course, to David Diggs' acting and his singing too. It's interesting how so many of the soups, for example, like we see it in this episode. It's something I thought about. These soups never wear normal clothes. I read there's exactly one time in this whole show that we saw Homelander wearing normal clothes, and it was when he went to visit Sage for the first time, which I will talk about. I have thoughts on Sage. But yeah, I mean, Father was done quite well. Given more time or attention from the plot, like, do you think he would have flipped on Homelander?
No. I don't think he was flipping on Homelander. Because again, me and Mikey spoke about this in one of the earlier episodes. He already explained that, he had already kind of lost his faith in God, talking about how since he started preaching when he was 9 years old, he would pray for people they never got better, like they never got healed, this and that. God had checked
Yeah.
out, but now Homelander is here. We can see him. He's actually doing what we want. Blah blah blah.
So do you
So
think he
he
believed in Homelander as a god or as somebody that he could make people believe in? Like, was he doing the Homelander thing for himself?
he was doing the Homelander thing for himself, definitely, because again, he needed a replacement god, and Homelander had become that replacement god, like his false god that at least he could talk to, he could say, okay,
Yeah.
like do this for me, blah 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 blah. And again, and it's so funny because it's like another thing with Father, like a lot of like people that, for lack of better words, uh duping people, bullshitting people, and brainwashing people. They truly believe that the masses are stupid, and you can tell from O Father's reaction when they were playing the movie about about Homelander becoming the second coming or whatever, and
Oh
he
Lord.
was genuinely excited, but turns around and see people are like, "What the fuck is this?" And he's sad.
Yeah. Yeah, he thought he needed more time, to be honest. And I also like the fact that they kept it ambiguous. Like they could have told us through Back Ashley that, like, they could have told us whether or not this guy actually believed. But instead,
Mm-hmm.
we have Ashley asking him questions, and they're having an actual dialogue. And we, as the audience, now have to come to the conclusion on our own: if this guy had more time, would he have done this, right? Because Ashley flipped, right? And they're having this conversation, like I said, in an intimate space where he still feels the need to dress as his soup self, right? So that tells you that to him, this is the real him. Like, this
This
is
is
what
the
he
real
is,
him. Yep.
right? I think one interesting thing about like that example that I brought up with Homelander seeing Sage for the first time, him wearing that outfit, that was a costume for him.
Yes.
Like Homelander, like John is not
It's not him.
becoming Homelander. Homelander has to become John. Like, that was him putting on a costume to try and pretend to be something else. And it's an interesting choice, right? I think Antony Starr portrays all of that so well because he's now one of those people where you can't really see anybody else playing this character.
You can't, bro.
Like a Downey Jr. type of thing.
Yeah.
And
Like, there can never be another Homelander, bro.
they literally can't. And honestly, if you read the comic, like, I do not think you would even care for Homelander as much as you do in the show.
Definitely not. Definitely
Because
not.
he's literally just like like, he's not just nothing. Like, he fully feels like nothing every time. And like, I've not read the full breadth of the comics, but everything I've seen is like Homelander is literally just another guy there that just happens to be the strongest one, literally.
Yep.
So I think having these people around him, having people like Father to kind of create this push and pull between the fact that he is nothing and the fact that he does have influence was an interesting choice for this final season. When they introduced Father, I was like, do we need another new character right now? But like, they made it work. Like, they actually made it work. Like, his
Really
arc
worked,
made
yeah.
sense. And which, speaking of Ashley, right, I know at least one person who felt like maybe we should have seen the consequences of Ashley's actions in more than just a quick newsreel moment with the photo backdrop. But I do think it kind of works.
It does.
I think it works for what they had and like the time that they could use, because she goes from saying, "I'm not resigning, I did nothing wrong," to like immediately she was impeached. and then they're saying, this is in the newsreel, they're like, so ends the scandal-filled tenure of America's first female president, which just tells you so much about how the country is thinking.
Guy.
I'm just gonna leave that there.
Man, oh man.
Oh wow, these guys. But you know what? I need to talk about Sage, because let me start by saying I saw a comment online that was basically like, the writers basically said women are not going to be the face of the revolution and corporations will outlast fascism. And I just had to sit with that, like, wow. If there's anything that you could say is the message of this episode, it might just be that. Because guys, let's be real here. Sage, look, it may be fundamentally problematic, honestly, for Sage to get everything she wants. And she does. Like, like even putting aside the fact that the boys worked with her, like everyone was just okay with letting her go to freaking Orlando, where she's the one who engineered the concentration camps, where they were literally oppressed and tortured. Someone who said that she did all this to see if she could. Like, that made her a genuine threat, someone who was actually malicious. And they just nerfed her. Like, so that her intellect would amount to nothing. This is somebody whose whole thing was she is the smartest person in the world, and that intellect is devalued because of the body that it's in. That is such an interesting place to explore. But instead, she just... It's just nothing. Like, she just leaves. Her whole thing was, okay, I'm just going to go to a bunker. Why was that even her plan? She's talking about, oh, I couldn't predict love. Did they expect me to believe that? Like, this is somebody who was in love. This is somebody who lost the love of her grandmother as well. And on top of that, there's the fact that, I don't know, like, if she knew what Soulja Boy's Ray was capable of, why wasn't her plan to get herself in front of it in the first place?
Because now, with the Soulja Boy thing, again, Soulja Boy was
He would have
always
destroyed her in his case.
Yes, and he was, because Soulja Boy is fucking racist. Let's start from there. So he was not going to shoot.
There's that.
That's beam out of love. She would have died. So
that's
one.
That's true.
Second of all, Soulja Boy was also kind of a wild card. I will talk about this throughout the season, because guys are like, what are Soulja Boy's motivations? I said, bro, Soulja Boy is just trying to fuck bitches and do drugs, bro. Like, that's literally. I don't know why
that was
guys
his last stated desire in the show.
I don't know why guys are thinking this guy is having some kind of crazy plan.
It's not deep.
Bro, he's not. This is
he's
a very
he's
shallow.
Probably shallower than Homelander, if we're being honest.
Bro, this is just a shallow guy, bro. This guy don't give a fuck about any of these things, bro. He just wants to snort his cocaine, bro. So that's one thing. Now, the thing about Sage, right? I think the show did pretty well about showing how Sage always saw her powers as a body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And apart from seeing her powers as a body, she also resented the fact that she had all this power, but she couldn't do anything with it. Yeah, she couldn't do anything with it, right? And again, it's like, and that is why she did this whole Homelander thing. She's like, okay, like, if I cannot do it, I'm going to make somebody else do it. And I know it's going to work just because I can. And guess what? Think about it. A lot of smart people do things just because they can. They do experiments just because they can. Just because they want to see the outcome. Just because they want to see how things are going to go. And with Sage, right, like, her losing her powers makes sense for her, right? Like, she always wanted quiet. Not just actual quiet, but quiet in her mind as well. Like, bro, this is somebody that lobotomizes herself at every chance.
But that's my beef. Why is the show then ending with somebody like that who made the choices she made actually getting what she wants?
Actually getting what she wants, yes. Is frustrating and is crazy, but...
Like, Ashley got freaking consequences, but not Sage. Like, what?
The simple truth of the matter is, nobody had actual time to deal with Sage. Like, and again, and I think
including the story, apparently.
Yeah. Yes. And that's another meta commentary on black characters in superhero shows. Because
just sidelined.
What? If Sage was a black man, they would have killed her.
You know what? You are right. They killed Noir. You're right. Same thing with Marie. All the black characters just like not doing anything. Even MM didn't get a chance to stand up for himself, like we already said. But he got a happy ending, sure. That's the one black person that gets... Oh, man, I don't know.
So it's like, when you think about it like that, it's like fair. Because again, it's like, yeah, she did all that shit, but she helped them. But it's like, you just put out the fire, you fucking started.
Because that's what I'm saying, bro.
Because the shit's not going your way anymore. You're like, shit, I gotta pivot. And it's just... And that's what makes it so much, that's what makes it so much more annoying. Because again, if Sage was a black man, they would have killed her.
And then you have the all-white writer's room that montage that they did at the end with the behind the scenes, yeah, that was cute. But then it ended with the all white writers' room giving us the finger after everything they just did.
Bro. So it's just like, so again, the same thing is like her having a happy ending is so insane to me. But again, meta commentary, bro. That's really all it is. That's really all it is, because she was the puppet master with the strings. She was the one doing all the work while the white man was taking all the credits. You feel me?
Yeah, so her reaction is to check out.
Bro, this shit is fucking nuts. But hey,
Come
man,
on, bro.
I will tell you one thing about this show, bro. If they are good at one thing, it's subtext, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody can take that away from them, bro. Nobody. And again, that was why I was like, MM is cooked, bro. Like, like I was so sure. I'm like, yeah, MM is
I was
cooked,
scared for his life. Yeah.
bro. I was scared for his life. I'm like, yeah, man. Especially after he had that monologue with Annie, I'm like, oh, fuck.
The death flags was so
I
strong,
was
bro.
like, oh my God, what kind of death flag is this? Why they go kill my guy? Oh my guy, I was losing my mind, man. Because you know how you are watching a scene in a show and you're just like, they go kill this guy. Fuck. So hey man.
Bro.
Cause bro, even Stan Edgar, bro. This nigga just magically came back and is CEO of us because they're like, hey man, this is the only guy that knows how to do
Vought
this.
will be profitable once more. I hate that guy, bro.
Oh, bro,
but you have to clap for him, dude. You have to clap for him,
bro. He told MM.
That's what he always was. He's here talking to the shareholders. He's like, money always wins on some Logan Roy.
The guy said even his superheroes are obsolete. Guy will build more products, bro. What is a Homelander, bro? What is a soldier boy?
It's a voice he said the most profitable days are ahead. He once told Homelander, all you are is bad product.
Bad products, bro. Bad, and again, it's just like, man, this shit is exhausting. But here we are, bro. Here we are. Like Sage got everything she wanted. Every single thing. She got every single thing she wanted, and she has disappeared into obscurity. You guys are going to forget about her because, again, most people didn't even know she was the mastermind behind this whole shit.
Yeah. And anybody who can speak to that is gone. Firecracker is gone. Ashley, who knows what she's doing? Father is dead. Homelander, obviously. There's no A-Train. No Noir. Even the director guy that was working with Noir on that play, he's gone too. Deep is gone. Guy.
like, and she's just there chowing her Taco Bell. Fuck, man. Fuck yeah.
These guys, man. This is why I'm saying this thing was entertaining. It's like there's so much left to be desired, but I just can't help but laugh. It's like, you guys are playing in my face.
Like, you literally just have to laugh so you don't run my life. My days. Oh my days. Nah. Like, no, the show. This was a great run from them. I can't lie, man. This was a great run from this show, man.
Yeah, right down to Kimiko getting her cafe in France with the Bernadoodle.
Bro.
Huey moving on with his life. Ryan finding normalcy. MM restoring his family. Butcher and Terra both dying. Wow. Like, I mean, once Terra died, you just knew that there was no hope for Butcher again because there's nothing left to live for.
That was nothing left to live for, bro.
Ashley potentially in jail. I mean, I guess she's not necessarily in jail, but she'll be somewhere. I guess she'll be somewhere, pick herself back up.
Like, man,
I guess the GenV-shaped hole in the story is just is going to leave a mark, but I guess people mostly get over it. So
yeah, because that's another thing. Like, not everybody that watches The Boys watch GenV. So
yeah,
and that's so funny.
And it annoyed a lot of people because sometimes like The Boys is like, previously, and it's like, when did this happen to some people?
Literally. So I can imagine somebody not watching GenV seeing these characters and be like, who the fuck are these kids, bro? because
they never introduced them properly in this.
They've never seen them before. So they're like, bro, who the fuck are these kids? And it's like, us guys that watch the show, we're like, oh shit, the kids are finally here. Let's lock in.
Oh wow, God. Like, who are these people? I can actually imagine it. Like, just, and it's not even all of them. It's literally only two of them. Just like, bro, okay, why are these two people here?
Yeah, you're just like, who the fuck are these kids, bro? Nah. I think these guys were actually just trolling us. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
They definitely were. I'm telling you, that middle finger at the end of the behind the scenes montage, that was intentional. That wasn't just a joke. That's them stay there. Come on, get us if you can. Catch us.
Like, fair enough, man. Y'all did the damn thing, bro. Fair enough.
Yeah. So ends the boys. I guess we'll see what comes of Vought Rising, or if we ever see anything about the Gen V characters again. But this show definitely has carved its place in pop culture. It got to the point that their predictions turned out to be so real that they wondered if if the show would even feel like satire anymore because of what is actually happening in the world. And I think the writers tried their best. I think the performances were stellar. Like, everyone really gave it their all. You can tell that the people working on this show truly loved it. And when that's the case, it always shines through in the work. So
Facts.
I had to commend everyone. Yeah, it's really cool. I think, as far as superhero shows go, this managed to make an impact. It managed to actually comment on media. It managed to comment on politics. It managed to comment on so many things. And, it's nice that they're bringing all that stuff up. I think it's kind of ironic that it's coming from Amazon. But, I will live with that, just like I will live with Amazon also being the people doing Invincible, which is basically the last superhero show we have left that is kind of trying to make a statement in this way.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. I mean, life now.
Who would have thought? Not me.
Man, what a wild 7 years, bro. What a wild 7 years, bro. I mean, shout out to them, bro. 5 seasons in 7 years. That's almost unheard of these days, bro.
I know, right? I literally, like, it's crazy. I mean, shows are. I mean, maybe we're getting back to a point where we're getting to reasonable timelines. I mean, Your Friends and Neighbors is doing a season 2 in literally the year after season 1. I was kind of shocked. I mean, stay tuned on that because we may have some thoughts on Your Friends and Neighbors, just like we may have some thoughts on, another show about having beef with people. But what I will say as well in terms of the summer that's coming up, there's content. This is like the end of a chapter, but there's so much coming up now. I mean, House of the Dragon, first of all, I mean, they have a lot of things to kind of rectify after season 2. So we're looking forward to that. And yeah, honestly, check out everything else that we're covering, because with this point in the year, we have For All Mankind. Now that The Boys is over, we can kind of move on to some of the summer things. We have some thoughts on some of the things that will be nominated for Emmys, some thoughts on the shows that we didn't quite cover through the course of the spring. And yeah, there's quite a year ahead also in terms of movies. Because this is a Nolan year, people. And there's already talk in the streets. So get ready for that and get ready for our thoughts on all these things. Oseghale, any final words?
Hey, man, catch me covering Spider Noir. I don't know if y'all know, but I'm a Nicolas Cage stan, bro. So just know that before you get into the coverage. But yeah, catch me covering Spider Noir. I don't know what else I'm on after that, but I'm definitely covering Spider Noir. We'll see how the rest of the year goes. I'm always ready to hop on the mic, talk that shit. You feel me? So we'll see.
Yep.
But yeah, catch me on Spider Noir. That should be out next 2-3 weeks. Yeah, catch me on the coverage for Spider Noir. All in all, I think back to the boys, this was definitely one of the greatest social political commentaries of the past decade, honestly. Like, again,
Yep.
the show
Made
touched
its
on,
mark.
it made its mark. The show touched on everything that could be touched on in terms of like the breadth and depth. And again, I encourage people that haven't watched the show or are still watching the show to not just watch it, but watch it properly. Watch it properly, bro. Don't come and be skipping scenes, then be wondering why you're confused, that you don't know why this character is doing this, or you don't understand the motivations behind this character. Just
Yeah, man.
watch the damn show.
Watch the show. Just watch
the
the
damn
show.
bro. Like, this internet commentary is exhausting. It is literally exhausting.
Arguing
Watch
with people
the
that
damn
have
show,
no argument.
bro. Watch the damn show. And again, I hate the way people consume things nowadays, bro. Because people are watching a show in the background or are just looking for something that they can nitpick. It's like, bro, watch the show. If you don't like it, turn it off. Like,
Art is about exploration, but people don't treat these things as art anymore because
Exactly.
it's treated as product, as content. So
that's products, bro.
people aren't approaching it with the mind of exploration. They're approaching it with the mind of expectation. It's like, tick all my boxes, please.
Literally.
You know.
And again, as I literally saw a tweet, and somebody said that people already decided they were going to hate the finale 5 episodes ago. And that's facts. That's
Yeah.
literally facts.
Yeah.
Like, just take your time with it. Consume the art. Like, you don't have to, obviously, you don't have to analyze it to the point that we do, but just at least know what's going on in a show you're watching. Enjoy the show. Like, put your phone down and watch your show. Like, let your attention not be that divided, so you won't have all these questions, and the shows won't have to start telling you what is going on in the fucking plot every time because they are realizing people don't know what's going on in the show.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started on that because I have way too much to say on it. But yeah, you heard it here first, folks. Put your phones down and watch the shows. We'll see you soon.